Good afternoon, beautiful people. Okay, so I'm taking a break this week from the "this is why this is in my study" thing that I'm doing to bring you a video that I shot a few years ago because I feel like it is so relevant right now. So I'm going to show you that here in just a moment. But the reason I'm showing it to you now is because I feel like the theme for me during this season, this period in our lives while we're on quarantine, is making the most of the opportunities in front of me. And whenever I looked at that for myself, this one thing came in at the very top. So for some of you, this one thing you already do, and it's just kind of a reminder and maybe an idea of how to do it differently. For others of you, it'll be a brand new thing, and I ask that you entertain the idea and keep an open mind during this video. For some people during this time, the emotions sound something like anxiety, stress, fear, doubt, and worry. And then for others, the emotions are hopefulness, peace, understanding, stability. The difference for some people can be doing this one thing that we're going to talk about during this video. So I hope you enjoy it. Take care. What is up, guys? Today I'm going to reveal to you what is the number one GOAT book for wisdom. And when I say wisdom, what I mean is it's not just knowledge, but it's knowledge plus utility. It's knowledge plus application. See, the difference between wisdom and knowledge is when you take in that knowledge, you're able to then utilize that to evolve, to grow, to become more. You're able to use it as utility in your own life. Now, whenever I tell you what this book is, there are going to be many of you that are immediately going to shut down.
Do not assume anything. Clear your mind must be.
And even though we live in a society, even though we live in a culture in America where we're continuing to become more accepting of different things, of different ideals, where we're becoming more tolerant, it seems like we've gone away from being tolerant and accepting of the Bible. Now, the Bible's the number one best-selling book of all time. I personally am a Christian. I believe the Bible is the handbook sent from God to men. But even if you don't believe that, I can give you a lot of tools and a lot of application for utility in this book and let you make your own decisions. So let me just give you this simple guide to using this number one guide of all time for wisdom and really be able to apply these ideals to your own life. I look at the Bible as being like the original Sims, where in the bottom right corner, when you were playing that original game, you had these different levels. These different metrics, and they were like social, bladder, sleep, hunger. And basically your job was to keep all of these meters up. And so in that sense, it was like these were the metrics for how you live a successful life. Now, everybody has different ideas for what a successful life looks like, but the Bible really gives you clarity on what it means, what the metrics are to have a successful life. And I'll show you a couple of books that you can read from so you're not just picking a point and starting to read. I'll give you a focus as to see what those metrics are. Another thing about the Bible, because we do live in a very tolerant society, we live in a very accepting society, the Bible may be the only place where you can read and be told that you need to change things, that you need to make changes. It might be the only place that you hear that you're doing something wrong, that you could be doing something better. For that reason alone, just to have that companion who's not afraid to tell you the truth, it's very good for that. So, where do you begin? If you've never really read the Bible before, the Old Testament is written mainly in Greek, Hebrew, some in Aramaic. The New Testament is written in Greek. That's why you have all these English translations of the Bible, to put it into modern English so we can read it. The easiest version to read that is also very much so a literal translation, in my opinion, is the New International Version of the Bible. That would be the NIV. You can go to BibleGateway.com. You can choose NIV as your translation, and it's fairly fluid. It's fairly easy to read while still retaining the original meaning. So you want to start there. If you really want to look at wisdom and you want to look at it in little bite-sized chunks, and I kind of call it little fortune cookie nuggets of wisdom, you go to the book of Proverbs in the Old Testament. And because it is written in like little bite-sized chunks, you could literally read as little as a few sentences and take some type of wisdom that you can then apply to your day. Or you could read a chapter and it might take you anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes and apply that knowledge. The book of Proverbs, it's all about, truths for living life. That's what the entire book is, and it's broken up into really bite-sized chunks. So you could start there. Another thing I would do would be to look in the New Testament at the book of Mark. This basically will take you through the life of Jesus Christ. Now, despite what you personally believe about Jesus Christ, you can see through his life that he embodies many of these wise traits that you see in the book of Proverbs, and you see what a selfless man he was. So he's a very good example of applying a lot of the knowledge that you might get from the book of Proverbs. So you can read through the book of Mark in the New Testament. And then finally, from the Old Testament, the book of Ecclesiastes. Now, this is Solomon, who was considered to be the wisest king, the wealthiest king. He was basically the foremost ruler of the world at the time, and he had everything at his disposal. And this book is his quest, really, to find fulfillment, to find happiness in his life. And so if you read the book of Ecclesiastes, you can go on this quest with him and see what he finally, after failing and failing and failing to find that fulfillment, what it comes down to for him, and learn a lot of wisdom for your life from many believed to be the wisest man to ever live. So the last thing you can do, and I would suggest this for anybody, no matter what your religious views, no matter what your belief, that you read from the book of Proverbs every day a little bit. You read from the book starting in the book of Mark every day. Those are great places to start. And when you read from there, every day you write down one truth from that day to embed it into your life, just to do a better job of integrating the things that you've learned, right? Taking that second step. So that is the number one book, in my opinion, for wisdom in this life. And of course, to me, it means much more as a Christian. But no matter who you are, I guarantee you can glean a lot from this book. That is it. I hope you guys have a great day today. We'll talk to you later. So I hope you found that video useful, and I hope you take an opportunity during this time to read your Bible more. I wanted to give you a little bonus. This is how I take notes whenever I read my Bible, and I got this from a book by a man, Jim Kwik. Jim Kwik is considered like the foremost authority whenever it comes to memory and memorization. He's worked with celebrities, he's worked with presidents, and this is his procedure to help a person to increase their retention whenever they read by 80% as opposed to just reading the book. This is his procedure for note taking, and I use this with reading my Bible. So you can write a line down the center of a page, and whenever you take notes, in the left-hand column, you write down the note or fact that you found helpful while you were reading your Bible. In the right-hand column, you then write down the insight or takeaway, the reason why the note or fact was helpful to you. Now, what this does, Jim Kwik says, is that the left-hand side of your brain is the factual side, it's the analytical side, and the right-hand side of your brain is the creative side. What this does when you take both notes, it makes synapses fire across both hemispheres, thus increasing your retention by 80%. And I have no idea if that's the exact percentage, but I do know for me, it's helped me to memorize things much, much easier so that whenever I give a lesson, I'm able to recall that information very quickly, much more quickly than if I just took the note. So I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you do well during quarantine and you're able to find a joy during this season. Take care.